Hey guys, it's Guido coming at you with a tactics talk. I mentioned a couple times we're going to talk a little bit about rocket usage for the new Chinese tanks, and I'm starting to warm up to this game mechanic a bit, learning some more things that it is good for. And I will tell you that it is more than just burning all of your rockets to get into position early on. That can be a good thing, depending on the map and the mode, your spawn, etc. You might be able to use some of the rockets to get into a first shot situation, create an advantage via positioning, and that's all well and good. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but I'm going to talk more about the possibilities later in the game. Notice that I'm on Westfield, and we've pretty well beat these guys up, used the gun depression, and I didn't use the rocket. I actually just drove up from the spawn and started doing the hold down fight instead of using the rocket to get up there, because I really didn't want to be the first guy to poke over in a tier 9 battle with 2 artillery. So we've won this. Now I want you to watch what we're going to do. Some of the things you want to watch out for, we'll go over this a couple more times, is your positioning. I'm going to try to get out of everyone's way right here. I want to reposition. And when I say positioning, I mean the way your hole is pointed, because you have a really hard time turning. Notice it's very slow turning, but I'm going to use that rocket to get just up and over, and that allows me to get to that CC-67. If I don't use the rocket, I'm back over here, right? I'm probably about halfway back to where the hill is. I see the Object 63 gets in there, and now that's going to allow me to get in and get a shot on this guy's back as we go. Just like that. So there's some damage I probably don't get if I don't have the rocket. Now I'm going to reposition here. I know this street is relatively straight-ish right here, so I should be able to maneuver through it. I'm going to shift my hole to where I'm pointed the direction I want, and boom, rocket power activate. We come zinging down here, and I'm pushing once again down into them so I can try to get some shots, get to the damage, get to the hit points, and now we're going to come up here and miss that guy. And it kind of gets us into that position, right? So 2 examples of using the rockets right there. Let's look at a few more. All right, a little while later in this battle, guys running. I get some good RNG on this one. Don't do a whole lot of damage, but these last few RNG shots. So I come up top. I can see that we're chasing them pretty well. The guys are up top beating up the campers that are hanging out there. Progetto's on the run. We're going to have some guys kind of take him out from that side over there, the GSOR. And I noticed this 49 down here in the BZ-176, I think misses him. So I'm just going to hit rocket power. The nice thing is I'm still on a reload, but as I get closer and closer, dispersion matters less and less. And yes, the dispersion's pretty wide while I'm rocketing, but it lets me get down here and get close to him, and little RNG helps out. We're able to take that guy down. So just another example. Positioning, getting closer using the rockets. So in this particular game, I used the rockets 3 times and was able to get a little extra damage, or at least associate some extra damage with using the rockets. All right, here's another example. I went to the brawling area here on Fjordsfield, Fjordsdorf, Himmels Field, Fjords. Anyway, and so I'm using the rockets to reposition, right? I used one on the BZ-58 to get there, to cross. Got into the fight. We ended up killing off the King Tiger in there. And now I'm looking at the middle, and the middle's looking like it's got problems. So I turn around instead of pushing into their campers and stuff. There's still a lot of guns left. I'm going to swing around here. I'm going to use that rocket burst to get nice and close, or at least a lot closer than I would otherwise, to this position in the middle. So the repositioning thing, I saved 2 rockets, 2 rocket bursts. Now I'm not going to use the second one. So I really... The 25/2 stopped the 50-2 from getting by, and I'm not too worried about it. I would have had a shot anyway as it went across. What I don't know is if some of these other guys are trying to push in here, but I don't need to use it. He's got it sorted, but I was able to get around this corner much faster and get in towards this fight right here with the rockets. Now I'm going to use it one more time on this game. All right, so I have saved one more rocket shot or rocket activation. Lost quite a few hit points. We ended up coming in here and fighting some of these guys that are dead. The big one being the CC-56 took a chunk off of me, as you can see, at least one chunk, and I got lit on fire by their BZ-58. So I've got 1 rocket actuation. This game was actually shown on another video, I think Miserable Monday, or will be soon, because there's some drowning that goes on with the remainder of the purple guys. But the hit points are there, and I'm way over here. So another possibility with the rockets is to get yourself back into the damage, or to chase the damage, or get into position to take shots. Again, I have to be careful with my positioning of my hole. I want to get it pointed relatively in the direction I want to go before I activate, and now I'm activating the rockets. This is tricky though, because as you can see, if I go up the ramp and don't quite make the turn, I fall off the ramp. So it's not exactly the best way to do it, but what I want to tell you here, show you, is the way you make these corners, instead of just letting the rocket activate and try to turn, I'm never going to make that corner. What you do is you want to jam on the brakes and turn the hole and then let it go, although I'm going to run out of rocket power. There we go. So what I did is I stopped. I went full reverse. All right, full reverse, so you slow. The best you can do is 1 kilometer backwards. All right, so you slow, and then you shift your hole the direction you want to go, and then obviously let go of the S key, and you're back to forward. So another example of using the rocket to get in. I don't actually get a shot, but I'm much closer than I would have been. I'd still be probably driving around that HT number 6 right now at my standard speed. For this example, we're on Westfield again. This time I'm middle tier, middle tier. We've got 6s and 8s, and we've got the big bad 100-01. I used 1 charge to get up here and take a shot, unlike the first one I showed you, where I just went up there and kept all 3 shots. I've been kind of going back and forth with this. Now this is encounter, so I knew they were all going to be here anyway, and I really didn't want to come up and over. This video will be out as well with the whole part of this fight where we talk about this tank being a bit better than I thought it was. But we've got the 100-01. This one kind of came to me as I was playing against the 100-01. Unfortunately, well, I do get him tracked actually right there. He misses. Now I'm going to come up to his side. I get hit by artillery for 455. That's fantastic. So we're going to get up on his side, and we're going to start shooting into the side of the 100-01. And this is fairly effective, especially when he's trying to back up and you're fast, or relatively faster than he is. But as it started to happen here, and we're taking this guy on, going to get a shot right here, everyone's kind of going around him. I want to stay on his side. What I realized, though, is he's going to start paying attention to me. And while this was happening, I was thinking, oh, okay, well, looking for that shot. I'm not quite reloaded. Now watch this. His turret is coming on to me, right? Turret's just about pointing at me, and I'm going to do something here. I hit the rocket boost, and just like that, I can disappear. So off I go. Now I take a bad shot because it's auto-aimed right there, fellas. And what happens is, let's take a look. Again, this is, I've already showed this, but it looks like it went left and just bounced off that highly angled part. So I really needed to turn off auto-aim and shoot him right in the back. But in any event, watch as I kind of get right around this cover, and he just can't, boom, he misses. Right? Now there's that rocket power keeping me jammed into the HT number 6. It's a good thing this HT number 6 wasn't further around this corner, or I might have got stopped. So you really got to watch that with the rockets. But I was able to get around the terrain right there, and then we get another shot in. So I didn't eat that big shot from the 100-01, and we got away from him. A little while later, after we kill this guy, I'm going to use it once again for reposition. So as you can see, oops. What is going on?
Target out of sight.
There we go.
Penetrated them.
Going to use it again for a reposition as the 100-01 dies, and we're looking at the fight. We're going to kill this 45 TP. Somebody else gets the kill. There he goes. All right, and so I immediately hit the boost because I want to get down here to the cap. So I've saved another. I have 1 more boost left. Now I can use it for getting a little bit further along in my reposition. I've got 2,700 damage so far. I actually see the guys up top, so it lets me carve a little bit to the left. We're going to come up top, try to get a shot, although he dies before I can do anything. I think I bounced this dude, actually. Well, he might have damaged. He had 675. There we go. We do get a damage. So I didn't quite go all the way down. That was the intent. Then we get the light of the KV-3, and I'm able to jam on the brakes and get the shot right there. So it's not all rainbows and unicorns, my friends. This is the Tier 8. It has 4 actuations, and I am trying to, in this case, in the old BZ-166, is I want to take this lower donut area right here, all right? And it's actually easier for the north to do that, unfortunately. If you get enough help, you can do it, but there's 2 actuations. You got guys like, oh, please don't do that, Lanson. There we go. We're coming around, and because I've gone wide, I'm going to get lit earlier than I wanted to, and I continue on. So one of the things the rockets are going to tempt you to do, unfortunately, and there's their rocket, the Tier 10 version, or the 9, I'm not sure which, that's the 10. So yeah, I'm zinging in there, but look at this, I'm just getting absolutely crushed by everybody. We've used all of our rockets but 1. We'll come around here and maybe get a shot, I don't remember. There we go, and down we go. So it's, like I said, it's not all unicorns and rainbows. Just because you have the rockets doesn't mean you want to commit to stupid things like that. You know, guys shooting me in the side, the BZ-75 there. We did maul him pretty good. We ended up losing this battle by quite a bit, and me dying with a whole 408 damage in approximately 55 seconds was not helpful. So watch for that. Just because you have them doesn't mean you need to try to get into crazy places. So just trust me on that one. That doesn't work. Let's look at a couple examples here in the BZ-166 of positioning within the small tactical area or on the flank that you're on and getting shots with the rocket power. We kind of showed one earlier where I got down into the little village and got a shot. But in this case, we're starting to get guys filter in on bottom tier here in a tier 8 against 10s and things. But our guys are doing some good work. The E-75, our super heavies are in and amongst them, really giving them fits. And I figured all the shots I may or may not get here are probably dried up, and I haven't really got a shot yet. So I really want to get in there and start supporting this Type 5. So we're going to go ahead and just hit the rocket boost, and that gets us across open areas much faster than otherwise. Now here comes the 34B. I'm just going to keep on trucking in here. The intention here was to come around this corner and get the shot off before he could reload, but mistimed it a little bit. We do get in here, we do get the shot, and we do get him dead. So using the rocket power to cross open areas like that, absolutely great use of the rockets. We're going to work in here a little bit against them, and we'll come up to another example in just a sec. A little while later in this battle, that Pantera comes to the corner. We're doing some side scraping and things with this tank. We've got the Type 4 sitting over there. Our Type 5's doing some great work. Down goes the Pantera, and I'm looking at this going, okay, let's get in there, right? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us. There's a Skoda and then a Type 4 with a bunch of hit points. So we're going to go ahead and just use the burst power to zing on in here. We find the Vipera, which surprised me a little bit. So we come across here. I'm going to wait till I'm clear. So we get there nice and quickly, jam on the brakes, which point you can stop to about 1 kilometer backwards, and we take that guy down, and about that time we're out of zoom power. So that guy's looking over there. We'll spin around, and I don't think I use it again here. I might, but I don't think it does anything. Get a shot into that guy's side. Fantastic, and he goes down. So we've used the rocket's red glare to help us out. The third charge I'm going to use to head down the hill, which helps me get to at least one more shot down on the cap. All right, the last example is another local flanking kind of thing. You can see I'm facing down a T-95 right there, and I've actually just bounced a shell off my turret. So a bit lucky there, but again, it's a pretty good turret, fellas. I'll have a review on the BZ-166 here pretty soon. But he's sitting here on this road. We have a fight going on the lower area with the 7201. We got a T-34 up top and a Tortoise. So we're kind of watching this thing go. The T-95 sort of owning that upper road. I don't want to challenge him too much. If I can get a sneaky shot on one of his hatches, that'd be great. We're going to try that right here. Or he might have even tried to shoot me right there. Ah, that goes high. Bummer. Now watch what he does. So he sees the 7201 moving up, and he figures I can probably just drive around there and start shooting these guys that are down low like the 7201. And there's not a whole lot the dude sitting over here in his little tier 8 can do. So I'm watching this happen, and I'm thinking, well, I do have rockets, fellas. He tries to go up here. I'm going to get a bad shot into his side. A little too far back and angled. And I thought about it for a second. I went, all right, let's give this a shot. Let's see what the rocket can do. I noticed that now, and what I was worried about was the 703, but I noticed he's down low, and it looks like he's reacting to the push. So we hit the rockets, and we get going 45 kilometers an hour. Come in here, and kind of like I'd done before, I'm going to jam on the brakes so the rockets kind of stop right about here. Put a shot into his back. Reorient the hole, my friends. Waiting for the rockets to reload, and we're going to rocket power activate and just give this guy a little shove off, and down he goes. And that is the end of the T-95 right there. So another example. The rockets are useful for getting you into early positions for sure. My recommendation is to save half of them for later in the game. So for the tier 7, maybe use 1 for positioning and save 2. At the most, use 2 and save 1. From there, it's 2 and 2. There's 5 charges on the 9 and 6 charges on the 10. And that can be done to taste whether you're really trying to get into an early position. Maybe you have a reason, and the games are dynamic, so sometimes you might use it twice and go, ooh, I need it again because I can get something done with it. And that's all good. We end up losing this battle because guess what? These guys that won push into a camping M60, T30, and WT Panzer IV. But that's a story for another time right there. So that you can then use it later on in the game and get some good things out of it. Notice it's still cooking for me right here. I'm just jamming the brakes on and spinning so that I don't go zinging down low right there. And we got the 703 coming in. So There you go, fellas. I think there's a lot of options with the rockets, learning a bit about them myself as I go. If you have any good suggestions on it, go ahead and chuck them down in the comments as everybody's learning how to use these things. You know, personally, I could have done without them in the game, but there they are. They do have their uses. There are some very interesting situations that you can get yourself out of or into, depending on what you're doing with the rockets. That is all I've got for today. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate the support of the channel. As always, we will see ya.